My name's Cathy Conley, and I'm representing Knott County Central and actually Knott County Schools in general. I got to do a little background on why I started this project and how it came about as an idea. Over the summer, I was chosen to participate in the Freedom Riders Foundation, which chooses 25 teachers from the United States in June and 25 in July. And Mrs. Erin Gruelle, the director of it, actually messaged me and said, I would like to know more about you and I'd like to know more about your story. And so I went out there and I spent 5 days in Long Beach. And the whole time I was there, I said, why am I chosen for this? Why did they pick me? I literally live in a holler. What kind of thing do I have to share with these people? I sat with people who had been in gangs, people who had been, war veterans, everything. And there's just little me with no story. And throughout the course of being out there, I understood and I began to learn that we have stories here. We have so many stories here, and they need to be told. They deserve to be told. And so one of the projects, if you're familiar with Freedom Riders, the movie, she had her students, her high school students, who love to write. You know, high school students love to write, right? Yeah. Well, she had them write in journals on the daily about what was going on in their life. And at first they were reluctant. They were just kind of like, they didn't want to do it. And so she said, well, let's make it let's make it anonymous so that nobody knows it's yours. And when she did that, it really caught on. So coming back to Eastern Kentucky, I said, I want to do something like that. I want to do something where I can capture my students' stories that they need to tell. They need to tell somebody. They may not just want to just come out and tell it, but they'll write it down. And so I started this little project idea. We are not alone, K-N-O-T-T alone, because really we are not alone in our stories, but only Knott County people will be writing in our journals. I'm going to collect stories from people who I had in class 15, 20 years ago. Yes, I'm that old. People who just has survived an organ transplant. We've got students at our school that have had unbelievable things happen to them, and I think their stories are worthy to be caught. So when they come in and they get a notebook, this is a little tiny one, of course, but there is standard size. I have 30 100-page notebooks. And they just come in and they just do a hashtag, whatever they want to call it that day, and then they just tell something that they want to tell, something that they think is a viable story, okay? And then they take the notebooks out. They haven't done this part yet. They're going to take the notebooks out and take them to people in the community and say, well, you have a story. Everybody has a story. Can you tell us your story? And let people write in. I'm hoping to collect 3,000 pages of Knott County stories for just Knott County only. In the spring, we are going to have a night, and all of you are invited, but I haven't set the date yet. I'm going to wait on the weather and such. We're going to have a date where my students are going to choose one page of the writing or one entry that they think needs to be told. And they're going to just read it. It's not going to have any names or anything on it. They're going to have, it's a nighttime ceremony. They're going to read it, then light a candle for that person's story. So if you do, if people write in it, they don't know if they're going to be read aloud, but nobody will know it's their story, okay? And I have had incredible response. I thought, okay, it's not going to work probably because the guys are going to just like, no, we're not doing it. I have guys who I know, because I've had them in class, haven't written more than a paragraph maybe in a semester, really. And they're coming in at break and saying, can I just write in one? And, yeah, you can just write in one. Bring a friend, bring two friends. And so I just started it like maybe a week and a half ago, and I've already got 200 pages. So I think it's going to catch on. But I just put this on here to just kind of show. I wrote my story in this little book of how I found out that we were getting chosen for this and how we were going to use it for the grant. So anyway, that is us. We are not alone, and I'm capturing stories. I'm catching stories. Any questions?